Hey, we continue to ask the experts, and welcome back, Andrey Bustamante. It is the Andrey Bustamante Real Estate Show, brought to you by GuaranteedSale.com. That's GuaranteedSale.com. Free home evaluations in under 30 seconds. If you would like to join the show, give us a call at 855-297-9696. You could text Andrey at 21232. And don't forget, his office number is 888-785-0440. Andrey with a Y, Bustamante.com. You hear Hannity talking about him all the time. And one of the things that we talk about on this show is Andrey's international reach. You ever drive around Central Florida? You drive around to some of the premier properties. You go around to some of the properties around here, like in the Disney area, Universal area, Isleworth, all around Alaqua, and you see homes that are owned by foreign nationals. Well, how do they find their way to Orlando? And you hear Hannity talking about that because Andrey Bustamante has an international reach. You just came back after 3 weeks in South America?
Yes, Rob.
Probably made, what, 1,000 connections while you were down there?
Man, it was incredible, the amount of people that were there from all over the world, not just Brazil. My wife, my brother, and I, we all went out there to watch the FIFA World Cup, and it was amazing, the lifelong friendships that we made there with people from Brazil, with other people from other countries. It was incredible. And on top of that, we actually got an opportunity to look at a lot of real estate. So it's an incredible, it was certainly an incredible opportunity. Most people would think, it's Brazil, it's a third world country, things are mega cheap out there. Nah.
Mega money.
Absolutely. I mean, you're talking like South Beach prices.
Go down to just anytime you folks get a chance to do it, go to Mall of the Millennia and ask the people that are going through there spending thousands and thousands of dollars and across the street at Best Buy where they're from. They're from Brazil.
They're all from
Brazil. And they
Brazil.
all want to buy homes here. So that could be your house. So go to a company that's got international reach, not just Orange County reach.
And it's kind of nice to be able to say, because of the amount of homes that we do sell to Brazilians, it's kind of nice to be able to say yes, and relate to them and say, I've been there. I've been in Rio. We've been there. We watched the soccer games. It adds another report building item that we can talk about. And now when I see the World Cup games, matter of fact, let's call this show the FIFA World Cup edition of the Andrey Bustamante Show, because if you didn't know, today is the actual final.
This is it.
So at 3 o'clock, according to Google, sometimes they say 3 o'clock and then it ends up being 4, but different time zones. But it's at 3 o'clock today, the final, Argentina versus Germany. Brazil, unfortunately, did not do so well here in the latter part of the World Cup, but it's okay. Nonetheless, it's an awesome World Cup. But it's nice. It's nice to be able to experience that, and when you see the footage on TV, to say, "Oh my God, I was right there." So,
well, the rumor has it that you took several suitcases, but one of them was full of business cards. Is that right? You were networking down there, buddy.
My business bag was full of business cards. That I can assure you. And I always carry hundreds of business cards everywhere I go. So no, it was just an unbelievable experience, and it's kind of nice. Like I said, right now we're doing business with a lot of Brazilians, a lot of Brazilian realtors that are bringing us buyers as well. And it's nice. A lot of them, when they found out that we were in Brazil, they were like, "Hey, but wait, Andrey, I know you're Latin, but are you Brazilian?" And I was like, no, I'm Colombian, but I am in Brazil right now. So it was awesome. Had a great time out there, and it's just nice to be able to see these people, to meet them, and made some phenomenal connections out there. So for anybody here that wants to get your property marketed overseas, now we have even more well-established connections with Brazilian buyers.
And so they're buying property here all the time, so it's a great outreach there. If you want to talk to Andrey right now, you're buying a home, you're selling a home, you're wondering about the selling process, you're thinking about selling, and maybe you don't know how to even go about it. What should I do first? And Lord knows, everybody knows somebody in the real estate industry, and the worst possible scenario, and you think, oh, it couldn't be a problem. The worst possible scenario is brother-in-law, sister-in-law, aunt, uncle, next-door neighbor, friend, because you might as well just say that's the end of the friendship right there.
Yeah.
And it isn't going to happen.
We've had tons of clients where they end up hiring their relative, like you said, their friend, a neighbor, whoever, coworker, and a year later, 2 years later, sometimes even 3 years later, they realize they made a mistake and they just couldn't get out of it. It's kind of like a divorce that's waiting to come. You just don't know how to break it up. But you realize it's not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, when you have a real estate relationship with a friend and you sign a 6-month agreement or a 1-year agreement, whatever it is, sometimes it's hard to get out of that and go back to that friend and say, that's your realtor, and say, hey, listen, when does our contract expire? Because I want to get out of it. It's hard to do that because your wife has a relationship with her or with him or vice versa. So during the show, we'd love to certainly take your calls, but I'd love to talk about what makes our program unique, what makes it different, how you can interview an agent, what questions you should be asking aside from what is your commission. There's a lot more better questions that you can ask. Mm-hmm. So we'll dedicate this show to that. Any questions you may have about the real estate industry, whether you've had your home on the market previously with other agents and maybe perhaps you weren't successful, or now it's on the market and maybe you're not getting a lot of showings. Let's talk about that. Let's make this show fun. We're here live for the next hour. I could not wait to be back here. I really, really miss coming back here. So for all the listeners that missed us, we appreciate you, and I missed you as well, because I truthfully look forward to coming here every single Sunday. And that's after working 5 or 6 days. I still love coming here every Sunday. So let's make this show fun, and we got probably 1 or 2 more minutes here in this segment. So one of the things that we would recommend to a seller when you're interviewing agents, one of the things I hear is, well, we should always interview 2 or 3 agents. Well, I'm going to give you a better system for interviewing agents because I get a lot of calls from sellers saying, if we're interested in your services, we're interviewing 2 or 3 other candidates, and honestly, I don't like doing auditions. Me personally, I call them real estate auditions, and so we like to engage in business where people have already heard enough about us. They've gone onto our website. They've seen our testimonials. They see the properties we're working with, where they're ready to work with us. So that's the ideal situation for us. But for any other home seller out there that maybe you don't know of an agent, and again, we'd love the opportunity to earn your business. If you don't know an agent, yes, it's good to interview 2 or 3 different agents, but you want to ask the right questions. The questions that always happen is, well, what do you think my home is worth? Folks, that is the stupidest question you can ask an agent, because ultimately you're setting yourself up for failure. So say you have a $300,000 home, right? And you ask Realtor A, what do you think my home is worth? And they say, well, I think it's worth $275,000. Does it matter what the agent thinks your home is worth? No.
No way.
If you ask agent B what your home is worth and they say, well, it's worth $300,000, and then agent C, you ask them and then they say $325,000, are you going to pick agent C because they gave you the $325,000 price? No, the price does not matter. Ultimately, what you want to do is you want to get an appraisal. You want to get your home inspected prior to even talking to an agent, and understand that there are 4 factors that influence the value of your home. There's location, condition, marketing, and price. So this week I was talking to a $5 million home seller, and he said, Andre, I want to get 4.875 for my house. I said, perfect, I can appreciate that. But something to consider is there's these 4 elements, and the condition of your home, especially on a almost $5 million home. Had this home been in LA or anywhere else, New York City, you name it, anywhere else in the country, that we'd be talking a $30 million home, but we're talking Orlando. So when we looked at this, we analyzed that the condition of the property could improve. Now, there's 3 things we talk about all the time. Do you want to sell at the top of the market, middle of the market, or the bottom of the market? Well, if you want to sell at the bottom of the market, well, then these 4 things don't really matter then, because you're going to sell low anyways. But if you want to sell somewhere between the middle and the top of the market, then you sure as hell want to make sure that these 4 items are being looked into, and especially the condition. The location usually is what it is. You still have to play it up and market it accordingly, but the condition has to be key. And that's where we bring our stagers in, our inspectors, to make sure that everything with the property is in ideal condition. And marketing, it's not just throwing it on the website. It's how are you marketing it, the property, and who are you marketing it to? And the price makes sense, and that's where the appraisal comes in.
Okay, so Andre is addressing the 4 things you need to consider, one of those being condition. What are the other 3? We'll talk about those as well. But we're also taking your calls and your texts. We do have one text from 2932. We'll answer that when we get back. If you want to text us, right there where it says contact, don't put in a phone number, don't put in somebody's name, put in the numbers 21232, 21232, or you could simply call us at 855-297-9696, 855-297-9696. Text is 21232, or go to that all-new News 96.5 app where it says open mic. Press that button. It says ready to record. You push the red, and you record, and it sends it right to us. How cool is that? It's the coolest thing. All right, 11:19. We'll take a break right here on News 96.5.
Andre, I put solar panels on my house. I put solar water heater. I've done everything to it, insulation. Does it up my value of my house a lot?
Okay, that is a open mic question, okay? And you can open mic us simply by going to the app. So the question was by this gentleman. Why don't you repeat that again so they can hear the way it sounds? All right, Tim?
Andre, I put solar panels on my house. I put solar water heater. I've done everything to it, insulation. Does it up my value of my house a lot?
All right, what do you think there, buddy?
It does. A matter of fact, this is probably from a client of mine that called into my office several weeks ago, and we're actually in the process of possibly selling their home. So the answer is yes, of course. Any upgrades that you do to your home are certainly going to increase the value. Now, if you put $50,000 worth of solar panels into a home, is it going to give you a $50,000 return on your money? Probably not. But is it going to certainly help out the appeal? Is it going to help it sell quicker? Is it going to add some dollars into your net? Yes. It's just a matter of how much. Usually, where you're gonna see a huge return on your money is going to be kitchens, bathrooms, flooring, paint, areas like that. Unfortunately, anything that's on the roof is usually not really looked at, and that includes solar panels. I've been in this business for 10 years, and I can't remember someone saying, oh, wow, look, this one has solar panels. I'm willing to pay $30,000 more. It doesn't work that way. But it certainly does add value, and then it's up to your realtor to make sure that from a marketing perspective that the prospective buyers know that there is a benefit of having the solar panels, and then you have the solar heating and then the installation and how that benefits them. So in order to get the full amount of whatever you put in, it's really on the realtor to show the true potential benefit to the buyer. But it certainly does add value to your home.
You know, that brings up a topic that you discussed on the show, and I know we're going to go back to these 4 things people need to know about selling the home and pricing the home, but it brings up a topic that you brought up maybe 2 or 3 years ago when we started doing the show together, and that was that some people want to have the nicest home on the block.
Yeah.
So they start just building it up and adding pools and adding backyard kitchens and doing all matter of nonsense, which is really cool to them, until they get ready to resell, and then they say to you, Andre, I got the nicest home in the neighborhood. I got a house that's worth 3 times what any other house is on the neighborhood. How come you're only asking a little bit more than the house down the block? You can be too good for a neighborhood, right?
Yeah, you don't want to be the white elephant in the neighborhood. And anytime that you do any upgrades to your home, you really want to consider, the day I go to sell this home, am I going to get this back? Mm-hmm. My wife and I have these conversations all the time because she wants to add a porch, a Florida room to our home. We have 3 kids, so and we live in thanks to God, we live in a nice size home. But she'd love to have even more room, to be just like a kid's room where they could play around. And so she's thinking about doing a Florida room to our home. But we looked at the cost of that, and we're looking at maybe $30,000 to $40,000. And I said, honey, you realize if we put $30,000 to $40,000 into this house, we may not get that back when we sell the home. And the reality is I might as well just buy another home that currently has a Florida room. So you just really have to consider those things and think from the potential buyer's point of view. Is this buyer going to pay what I'm going to ask for my home? And is it going to be worth to do all these extra upgrades that is going to cost me, $20,000, $30,000, or $40,000? So think about that anytime you're doing upgrades to your house. Think about the buyer and how much money and what they can normally qualify for given the neighborhood that you live in.
All right, let's go back to those 4 big things that Andrey's considering today.
Well, what I'd like to get to now is that there's a question here that just came up. How's the market looking? Values going up? What you project 1 year out for properties? What you think about lease to own option? All right, so let's look. How's the market looking? Well, the market's looking good. It really depends which source you look into. From my point of view, I think the market is stabilized. I think properties are still selling. But if we were to look a year ago to presently, with all of these hedge funds that left the market, I think values have kind of softened out a little bit. Properties are not selling as quickly as they were before. I think they're still selling, but we're not having as many multiple offer situations from 10 or 12 different investors. So I think we're in a healthy market right now. Values going up in certain areas. Values are certainly going up. And what I project a year out from today, I think we're going to have probably standard appreciation, maybe 3 to 4% appreciation. I don't see things going as fast as they were maybe a year ago, and making projections based on that, because right now we don't have all of these investors and all of these people buying, which we're really making a domino effect, having the $200,000 buyer, be able to sell that and then buy a $400,000 house, and then that $400,000 seller be able to buy a $500,000 or $600,000 home. That created a really neat domino effect, and right now we're not having that. What do I think about a lease to option? It depends. It depends if you're looking at it from the seller's perspective or from the buyer's perspective. I think from the seller's perspective, a lease option that's done via an attorney and a title company and structured properly, I think it's awesome, because usually from the tenant's perspective, usually these people will stay there, lease option, 2 to 3 year lease option. They won't be able to buy the home in 2 to 3 years. So you ended up getting all this money up front, this deposit, 10, 20 grand up front, that they're going to end up forfeiting. And then you just lease option it again and again and again. So it's pretty neat. Any further questions, feel free to call me at the office, 888-785-0440. I'll be there all week, so we can definitely have some nice conversations.
All right, very good. We're going to take a break for news. When we come back, give us a call, 855-297-9696, or text us at 21232. We have another text. I'm going to read it when we get back to Andrey Bustamante on the Andrey Bustamante Real Estate Show. We'll be back. There you go. Here he was in these great stadiums down in South America, running up and down the grandstands. It was Andrey Bustamante at the FIFA World Cup. And this is the World Cup edition of the Bustamante, Andrey Bustamante Real Estate Show, brought to you by GuaranteedSale.com. Free home evaluations in under 30 seconds. You could call him during the week or anytime, actually, at 888-785-0440. And we do get a lot of text, people asking about, how do you get a hold of Andrey on the internet? It is AndreyBustamante.com, Andrey with a Y, Bustamante.com. If you put that in your search engine, you're going to get to about Andrey B-U-S-T, and it's going to pop right up. That's how many people go and search out Andrey Bustamante each and every week. It is unbelievable. Okay, my Florida home my friend is selling his home. It's nice. It should sell for about $800K. He has a real bad rat problem, and he's fought it for 10 years. You think he's going to sell it for $800,000 when he's got rats?
This sounds like the type of property that would be featured in $1 Million Listing New York or something, with all the rat problems they have up there.
Yeesh.
This would be something that you definitely want to bring an expert exterminator in there to handle that issue, because you definitely don't want to have the home, say, even under contract, and then the buyer's doing their home inspections, and then they realize, oh man, we got a major rat problem here in the house, and then have them cancel the deal, and then you ended up having to take the home off the market during their escrow time. So have an expert come in there and exterminate those suckers and get them out of there.
That brings us to the point of divulging things about your home. What is the law in Florida, or is it national, about things you must divulge about the conditions of the home, about things that may have happened in the home? What's the clarity on that?
If there's anything that materially affects the value of a property, you're supposed to divulge it. And my rule of thumb is, if there's anything that you remotely think that the buyer should know about, whether it's, if there was a hurricane there. I know the popular one is, if there was someone that was killed at the property.
We've had that question 100 times in the 31 years I've been on this station.
Yeah.
People have called in and said, I bought a house and now I found out there was a homicide there. Can I get out of it?
You can, and I would. I personally, and I'm not an attorney, and I'm not going to answer it from an attorney's point of view, but I would. If there was something that happened in the home, I would want to go ahead and disclose it, no matter what it is. There's just no sense of keeping it from the buyer. And the way we do our negotiations, and we sell a lot of properties, and a lot of them actually sell over appraisal values. Even something as simple as an appraisal. If we're selling, say, a $400,000 house, but the seller wants $450,000, we just have that conversation up front with the buyer, saying, "Listen, we got an appraisal here at $400,000, but my friend, the seller wants $450,000, so let's make a deal."
They'll go from there.
So we don't really leave things up to surprises later on, and that same thing goes for inspections, or if there's anything wrong with the house or anything.
Okay, there is a follow-up to that one, and it was that the rats are getting in through the sewer line. Would that also be something he would go to his municipality and discuss?
I would talk to your local utility company about that.
Okay, very good. Before the break, we were talking about 4 big things. We talked about condition, and there's 3 other things that you wanted to talk about today when a person goes about selling a home or buying a home.
Correct. Well, there's 4 things that materially affect the value of a property, if you will, or the saleability of a property, and that's location, condition, marketing, and price. And this is not something that I went and read in a book. This is what I feel that affects the value of a home. And if you were to ask Dave Ramsey or any of the big real estate gurus nationwide, they would say, folks, if you're trying to sell a home, the very, very, very first thing you want to do is you want to hire the absolute best agent. After that, you want to get an appraisal and an inspection. That in itself, it's going to help you, and it's going to align you and put you down the right path. However, we've put together a proven system that sells houses for more money in less time. And by more money, I mean more money in your pocket. We have the ability to put anywhere from 10 to 18% more money in your pocket, because we manage 115 unique variables when it comes to selling a home. And most people are like, okay, Andrey, so I get you. All right, so you want me to take pretty pictures of my home, and you want me to put a for sale sign, and you want me to hire your stager. Okay, she's hired. And you want me to get an appraisal and inspection hired. Okay, I got it. There's no need for anything else. Folks, there's 115 variables. And I don't think we would have enough time all day if I owned the other 5 or 6 hours left in today's Ask the Experts editions to talk about every single little variable. There are things that are extremely important. Little things like having a call capture system. So when a buyer is driving by and they see your for sale sign, rather than them calling the office, they call a toll-free number. It's a unique toll-free number that's directed to your home.
Cool.
So you can capture buyers online. And there's so many other different systems, but location, condition, marketing, and price, that is the key to sell your home for the most amount of money. But you want to make sure that you have an agent that understands and has a proven system and that can manage the 115 variables. In Central Florida, we are the only ones that are approved and that have this type of system. And that is the reason that we offer a guaranteed sale program, because we realize if we're managing these 115 variables, we know that your house is going to sell for more money. And now, to give you an idea, say if you're selling a $300,000 house, well, 10 to 18% more on a $300,000 house, we're talking anywhere from 30 grand to almost 60 grand more on your property. And it's easy. Let's do the math.
Okay.
If you were to look at the average property that's selling in the Orlando real estate market, the majority of them, after their final list price reduction, they're selling on average for 90% of what it was initially listed for on the market.
Okay.
Now, if a property is properly positioned on the market, it's usually going to sell within 30 to 60 days, obviously depending on the price point, but it should be selling for 98, 99, 100%, if not more of the asking price. And I like the more part of it. I like to be able to put a home out there on the market, let's call it at $300,000, and I love to be able to sell those homes for 310, 315, 320 grand. I get the question, is it possible? How are people paying more for a home than what it's listed? It's easy. Buyers don't buy price. Buyers are, when someone gets emotionally attached to a process, the price no longer becomes an issue. It's sort of like when you're car shopping. So my wife and I right now, we're car shopping for her, and we started with a small budget. What I think is small. We started with like a $20,000 to $24,000 budget, because I wanted to pay cash. I said I don't want a car payment. I don't want to mess with that. After looking around and visiting all the dealers, now we're looking at like $45,000 and $50,000 cars, because buying is emotional. We're not looking at it anymore as a financial decision. We're looking at it as, well, it would be nice to get the leather seats and the sunroof and this and this and that. And now that final price tag no longer becomes that much of an issue because we are emotionally attached to the process. Same thing. So the numbers are easy, folks. You don't using an average traditional approach to selling real estate, which is, hire an agent, put it for sale, a sale sign in the front yard, put it on the MLS and sit back and pray. That system usually is going to net you anywhere from 85 to 90% of what your home is worth. Using a proven system that sells houses for more money in less time, that manages 115 variables, unique selling variables, that's a program that's guaranteed to put more money in your pocket. Simply put, we have our secret weapon. So our secret weapon, part of our secret weapon, is our stager. We've proven it. And there's a video that we're getting ready to launch onto our website this coming week, so I encourage you to visit it during the week. That's AndreyBustamante.com. That video will show you with statistics how staging not only sells homes quicker, but it sells them for more money. Usually on the average of a couple $1,000s investment is going to get you probably $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 back. We have done case studies where we've sold sellers' homes, and we come in and we stage their houses and maybe paint a wall or two and put accent walls and different things that cost under about $5,000. And these sellers are selling their homes for $40,000 to $50,000 more.
There you go.
It works.
The little things, folks. The little things and marketing. You could even have a drone presentation over, under, around, and in your home. How cool would that be?
Tune into Fox News this week, and they're actually doing the special feature edition on us and that luxury property that we're selling off of Markham Bend Place in Lake Mary. And one of the things that we did there was we flew a drone over the property. And don't get me started on video, because video we're taking real estate to a whole nother level with video marketing. And that's something we're using on all of our listings right now. It's fun, it's easy, and it makes our job easier, because when a buyer says on a Saturday afternoon, "Hey Andre, or team member, I want to go out and see this property Sunday," it's easy. Here's a link to the video. Take a look at it, and if you still want to see it, give me a call back tomorrow.
Yeah, from the air, you can see the proximity to neighbors. You can see what else is around it. You can see what the home looks like. You can get kind of a visual of the roof. You got everything going on. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more. The Andrey Bustamante Real Estate Show right here on News 96.5. All right, here we go. It's the Andrey with a Y Bustamante Real Estate Show, brought to you by GuaranteedSale.com. Free home evaluations in under 30 seconds. Give Andre a call anytime. 888-785-0440 or AndreyBustamante.com. And, of course, if you want to participate in the program right now, 855-297-9696 or text us at 21232, just like 4784 did. Andre, is it important to hire a buyer's agent when considering a home purchase?
Absolutely, especially knowing that the seller is represented by the listing agent, the guy that has his for sale sign and has the property advertised on the internet. You certainly want to make sure that you're being represented by a separate buyer's agent. So that it's something that it's free, and you really can't put a price tag on that, because that person is not only going to show you that home, but they're also going to advise you, if there are other homes similar to that one on the market, perhaps at a lower price.
Yeah, the one thing people never think about that. They never do. They think, well, Jim Smith's name is on the sign, so I have to deal with Jim Smith.
Yeah.
And they think, you wouldn't do that if you were negotiating for a job and you'd want your own agent to go against the agent of the employer if you were the one getting into the business. So this is really, really an important thing, because you're going to argue on their behalf, right?
Oh, absolutely. And, again, it's completely free. This day and age, everyone feels like the thing to do is to go to Zillow, find out who's got the property listed,
please.
Call the agent, and go from there. But the reality is, if you're looking to buy a home, you really should look at this from 6 months or even a year in advance. Have a conversation with an agent that you like, you trust, and establish one, and let them know what it is that you're looking for, even if it's sometime down the road, and have this agent work for you. Because now that agent is going to take it upon themselves to find you the ideal home. Again, it's kind of like car shopping. I'm sure that there is a service out there like this, but I wish that I could just go to someone, and I don't know of anyone right now, but I wish I could just go to someone and say, hey, listen, I'm looking to buy this car. Can you go buy it? Buy it for me, and let me know when you have it. Or let me know when you have 5 or 6 cars. We'll go take a look at them, and you get your commission, and I'm done.
My Lincoln guy does that for me.
You may need to hook.
I don't even leave my place of work. He just brings a car by once every 8 months to a year and says, here. Now that'd be a great business for somebody to do. He is a really cool guy doing that.
That's the way I think the real estate industry should be, and so with people don't go online anymore, as they are, and they're still going to do so, but it would just make their job a lot easier and their experience better.
And the misconception about Zillow, we can't press that enough. I mean, they're a good company, but again, are you getting the accuracy that you're going to get through GuaranteedSale.com?
No, definitely not. And Guaranteed Sale is more of it's become a national website, but our portion of it is local. So they're using local metrics in order to evaluate your home. And again, it's simply a tool. So don't look at that and say, well, if Guaranteed Sale says my home is worth $190, that's how much it's worth. Or please don't call me pissed off saying, Andre, why is my home only $190? What the hell is wrong with you? Listen, I have nothing to do with the value. And if we're going to really, really, do business, we got to look at the location, the condition, how we're going to market it, who we're going to market it to, and what marketing budget are we going to allocate, and the price. So that is just a beginning, a starting point for you, whether or not it makes sense to sell your home. But I certainly invite everyone, go check out Guaranteed Sale, get your free home evaluation in under 30 seconds. And if you're serious about buying and selling real estate, I encourage you to go visit my website at AndreyBustamante.com. We've also put together a neat one. We've just recently bought a super expensive domain name that I'm very, very proud of. It's called SoldGuaranteed.com. That's guaranteed with a D. Sold Guaranteed. Our results are 100% guaranteed, folks. And if you're not working with an agent that's going to put their money where their mouth is, and if they're not going to guarantee their results, I encourage you to give us a call and let's talk about the possibility of doing business. Our number during the week is 888-785-0440. That's 888-785-0440. Or visit us online at soldguaranteed.com. Visit guaranteedsale.com for your free home evaluations as well.
All right, very good. And again, like Sean Hannity says about you, if people are unhappy with it, they need to call you and tell you, hey, give me a catch-up. But you respond to them.
No, absolutely. We really make ourselves accessible to our clients. And I love this business. It's changed my life. I love what I do. I think it was Confucius that said, if you love what you do, you'll never work another day in your life. And what I do is not, I don't consider it work. I have a huge passion for what I do. I have a huge passion for helping people, and we've assembled a team that shares the same mentality. And speaking of team, we are looking for more people to add to our team. So if real estate is something you're serious about and you want to take your career to that next level, I encourage you to give me a call this week, or visit our careers page at realestatecareersorlando.com, or simply submit a request on our website at andrebustamante.com.
All right, very good. You got it right there from Andrey Bustamante himself. 888-785-0440, 888-785-0440, Andrey with a Y, Bustamante.com. And don't forget, guaranteedsale.com, free home evaluations in under 30 seconds.
And don't forget, the World Cup is today. The World Cup
Big
final.
time.
Argentina versus Germany at 3 p.m. So good luck, Argentina.
Kick the ball. All right, we've got more experts coming up all day long right here on News 96.5.